found something in our backyard that is perhaps not an example, uh, but an illustration of a principle, an ecological principle that I find interesting in my backyard. This is our little garden. We're in Southern California and there's not a lot of water here, so we try and manage our water carefully. We have a small garden that we have plants that don't require a whole lot. And in this bed here, we had some not that thirsty flowers, but we had a multi-species flower bed here, and you can see there's some succulents as well. And over time, this soil has built up. Those flowers are perennials and they just died, but they'll come back. Or annuals, I can't keep track of those, perennial or annual. Anyway, this soil built up under here and connected to our garden, and over here is just dirt area where our dogs poop and other stuff. It's pretty just dirt, not much soil, not much nutrients in that soil. But we just had a bunch of rain, and if you can see, there's a low point that runs this direction diagonally, and you can kind of see the coloration difference. On this side it's a little darker colored, and on this side it's more light dusty color. And what we can see is that water ran down both slopes to this low point and then out that way to its lowest point. And on this slope on this side, you can see there's a little bit of sprouting ground cover, some kind of succulent or clover or something, and it runs all the way on that side, much more so than on this side. And what this would illustrate is that the nutrients from the soil built up on this side, through the microbiology here, and like things like worms or roly-polies or salamanders and whatever lives underneath the soil, is feeding off of what the plant gives out. Those insects and bugs and other microbiology and mycorrhizal as well are feeding on the diverse nutrients being pumped into the soil from the plants that we had here, and that soil, or those nutrients from that soil, running down and expanding its fertilization into this soil, which is causing new growth. It's a beautiful process that's happening, and mirrors or mimics what happens in nature as well. You can see over here we've let some of these native weeds grow, and there is a few different species over here, and you can see also some new growth in the soil that this created, but not nearly as much expanding downhill like the other side. It's just kind of right around the native weeds. So thought that was interesting. We live on a mesa here, as you can see, and there's some native plants and endangered species living in this open property down here. So our hope is to have a diverse, multi-species, water-resistant plant life here that would build up the soil in our yard, and hopefully those nutrients would run downhill and provide new resources for what lives downhill and could use it. See, our neighbor's yard already has some diversity of native plants and not native plants, and they have some soil built up on that side, which has really actually fertilized this grapevine and had it go crazy. It almost took out this tree behind here. We had to go back and clear out that tree from the vines. But his side of the vines are more productive than our side, even though ours is bigger. We haven't cut them down because of the nutrients that their yard was providing and sending downhill. That's all.